Are live right now. We've got a couple views in it. They're coming in here slowly but surely. Let it
Yep.
breathe in for a little bit. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get started because I know we only got you for a little bit. So firstly, I want to say thank you so much, DJ D Nice, for giving us a little bit of your time. How are you doing today, sir?
I mean, you
All
don't even have
right,
to call me
and
DJ D Nice. We already had a full-on conversation. I'm
all
Derek to
right,
you,
we are
bro, and I'm
live.
fantastic, man. I'm excited to rock tonight. DC Fandom.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. So, firstly, I just want to say thank you for representing the Blerd community. Like you said, we already kind of had a conversation before, but I want to ask you this and just, I already think I know the answer, but do you consider yourself a Blerd? And if so, why do you?
I mean, I am definitely a blerd. I've been collecting comics and like into like the entire comic world since I'm older than you, bro. So since I was like 10 years old, man, I used to this is totally so illegal. I shouldn't be doing this, but like we're talking about it, but I used to like cut school during the lunch break to run up. I used to go to school in Manhattan on 77th Street, and I would like climb over the fence, run over to the comic store, and just pretty much buy comics and just kind of like live my life vicariously through these words and like imagine being these superheroes and so I am definitely a blurred. I'm all about that blurred life.
Yeah, and so I had the amazing honor to see you perform live at the very first Blerd and Boujee party back in San Diego Comic
Oh,
Con.
you were there
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
yacht?
yeah. I was there on the yacht, man. Got to see you and
Oh.
Estelle perform. I will never forget that moment. That was probably one of the best San Diego Comic Con moment experiences I've ever got to be a part of. So thank you for that. Just never forget that. So can you just talk about what that initial experience was like? Because I didn't know what I was going to get into going into that, but I feel like that was legendary. Like that, nothing would ever top that.
Well, when I received a call from WBTV asking if I was open and if I was into blurred life, and to be honest with you, that was actually my first time hearing about like being a blurred. I mean, I've heard the term before, but like
Hmm.
I'd never gone to Comic Con. You know what I mean? Like I was always DJing; it was always on my radar. But like getting that invitation and being a part of the experience and seeing how many people, I used to think like Comic Con was like people just dressing up and not really taking the community itself seriously. And when I was there, and in particular with the Warner Brother Blerd and Bougie party, the WBTV, Blerd and Bougie party, it was an amazing experience where I got to see people like I didn't even expect Estelle to be there, and Estelle is my homie, and I didn't even know she was involved in the Blerd community. You know what I mean? Like so, and what we did that night was all like an impromptu performance. She was just there and was like, you know what? Let's rock together because I DJ for her before in the past, so I still have the instrumentals, and it was so much fun. Like it was one of my favorite experiences last year, and I'm happy to be back doing it. Even though we're doing it virtual, which isn't a bad thing. I actually
Hmm.
think doing it virtually is a beautiful experience because so many more people get to experience what we do and our love of like comics and in particular DC comics and our love of music and I'm happy to be here doing it, bro.
Absolutely, and just speaking of WB and Blerd and Bougie, this wouldn't be possible without the sponsors of Dream in Black. So, what does it mean
Yeah.
to you to just Dream in Black? Because their platform is to power African diaspora. So, what does it mean to you?
So for me, I've worked with them in the past, even before we did Blurred and Bougie, and just Dreaming Black. I will say this, man. I mean, obviously, well, I think I'm African American, man. So it was when I started working with them and Dreaming Black in particular, it was very inspiring to know that there was support for the arts and for culture and to have like AT&T back the culture was powerful. So for us to be able to have them as a part of it is major. And I am a fan. I hope they continue Dreaming in Black because everything that I wanted to do as an African American performer, whether I was DJing or photography or production, music production or film production, it was always to be able to tell our stories.
Hmm.
Like so to know that we have like people and especially on the corporate side that really believe in these stories is powerful.
Absolutely, and we kind of talked about it already. But you and Estelle, this isn't the second time y'all collaborated. So y'all actually had to co-moderate a boss female panel for DC Fandom,
Ah,
and that was absolutely one of the highlights of the weekend. Like I learned so much from that. So what did you take away from that? Because first of all, I got to say you gotta have moderating in your future. Besides DJing, you need to be a moderator because that was just a excellent panel. So what did you learn from that?
Well, I appreciate your compliment. I think I owe you a check. Do we agree? I have to pay you for that, for those words. No, but really, like it was one just being a man and being in particular a black man on a panel of just beautiful women of color, and
Hmm.
not just physically beautiful, just beautiful minds, beautiful conversation, and they're playing these powerful superheroes within the DC universe was just great. Where Javicia, who's playing Batwoman, which is like the first time that we get to see that on our television, which
Hmm.
was just great to like talk to her about that. And I mean, all of them, man. Nafisa, like I love Nafisa. She parties with me in Club Quarantine, and but it was just great to be able to talk to these wonderful women about what their roles are and the importance, and not just about being superheroes, but the importance of representing people of color in the DC universe. And it was just a powerful panel. And yes, I hope to continue, moderating because it that was my first time moderating and or co-moderating with Estelle, which is I love Estelle, man. She's just great, and I learned a lot from her. But I hope to continue doing this. It was just great to talk to them about what their hopes are with their characters and the background, which is another thing. I'm sorry to keep talking, bro,
Oh
because
no,
I'm like
go
really
no.
excited to be here with you. Um, the other thing that I learned from the ladies was that it's just beautiful to know that even as artists in portraying these roles, that the backstories are important.
Mm.
The backstories to these heroes, these superheroes are important in terms of representation, man. So yeah, it was powerful, man.
I completely hear you there. Like went back and rewatched that a couple of times just because of how amazing that was. Truly though, like shout out to all of those amazing actresses. They are carrying those shows on their back, and they just
They
definitely
really are.
deserve all the credit. So I know we only got you for a little bit more, but I do want to ask: do you have anything you want the fans to know? Anything you want our followers to know about what you're performing? What are you doing? Like the club quarantine and all that stuff.
I mean, with Club Quarantine, which has been a beauty for me, it's been one of the most amazing moments in my life where I can actually just be who I am. And the fact that so many people, has been touched by the music that I play. And I come from in terms of how I play music and how I listen to music, it has to move my spirit.
Mm.
So the fact that so many people have been gravitating towards what I do throughout the last, 6 months, man, which is so crazy that we've been, dealing with this pandemic and, kind of quarantine. I say kind of because, some people aren't really like, some people are like,
Yeah.
yo, they can't take it, which is understandable. I don't agree with it, but I do understand, man. But, you know, I'm just excited that people appreciate the work that I'm doing with music and the music, what I'm doing in terms of like entertainment, and it's such a positive thing, bro. And
Hmm.
I feel blessed to be in this position to do so.
And I'm glad like you said earlier, even though we are in quarantine, now more people have access to your music, especially now that you can do these live shows that you're about to do in an hour. But before I let you go, I do want to leave it on a fun question. So, if you were a superhero, what would your power be? Like, what if you had any power in the world, what would you pick?
Man, if I had any power in the world, man, I would actually want the powers of like the ability to fly.
Mm.
Like, although I'm a Batman fan, I'm a Batman fanatic. Like, I love everything about that character and his backstory and how, like, it's a very complicated backstory. Um, the ability to fly, because I love to travel,
Mm.
love to go to different places. I would love the ability to fly, man, and just to be able to be in so many different places to showcase my talent with music. I know this sounds a bit corny, but that's really how I feel, man, and that's why I love this whole live streaming because you just get to display your talent more and have more people see it and experience it and feel the music. So that would probably be the superpower that I would want.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you, D Nice, so much for taking a little bit of your time to sit down with Geeks of Color. We can't wait for your live show in about an hour. Where can they find you on Instagram, sir?
So 1 hour, actually less than an hour.
Yeah.
We have 50 minutes. 50 minutes. I'm gonna do my set on my IG live. So if you go to at D Nice on Instagram, you'll find me there. Blerd and Boujee all day, DC Fandom, Dreaming Black, WBTV, the family. That's the family right there, man. So I'm excited. Actually, I'm I'm like, man, this was a quick hit, man. This is a quick interview,
I
bro.
know, bro. They said I only got 10 minutes with you. They
You get
said
to
you're a
the
busy
point, man.
man. I had to get to the questions. They said we got to get these questions. I only had 10 minutes. I had to make sure I had to get all of them to you.
Well, here's what I'm about to flip it on you now. I know
Oh,
this is your show. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
I've thought about this a few times now. If I had a superpower, mine kind of isn't the same as yours. Like I want to travel, but I would pick teleportation in my opinion
Ah,
because I feel like with teleportation, I've seen so many different types of shows now that there's so many different ways like you can utilize that. Like you can do time travel teleportation. Like there's different types of teleportation. So I feel like
absolutely.
once I get the ultimate one where I can time travel, I can teleport anywhere. I'm set, baby. So I think that's probably what I do is teleportation.
I may have to bite that a bit, man. I may that may be my second choice. I guess I love the freedom of like even when I travel like to city as a performer or when we were able to travel, there was something magical about being above the clouds and just seeing these clouds because of my just my imagination. And I would just even just being on a plane would just imagine being in all of these different places because of I mean, there's nothing there, just clouds, and like all you can do is use your imagination. But I like the idea of being able to teleport to these different places in different times.
Yeah,
That's actually great, man.
and then another power I would have would also be because I'm low key trying to campaign. Last DC Fandom event, they said that there's a Static Shock movie in the works. Your boy, I'm trying to play Virgil Hawkins. I would not mind having
Come
electricity
on,
powers,
man.
bro. Because I'm down to play Static Shock. Like I feel like if DC needs somebody, I can play a little bit younger. A black don't crack, so you can cast me as a high school kid. I'm not worried about it. Like let me play the
You,
role.
well, it's good to know that you weren't in high school. I thought you were in high school, man. You definitely have a very young
I
look, bro.
I know, man. I get ID'd everywhere. It's
Well, listen,
ridiculous.
you want to keep being ID'd, man. This was awesome, bro. I'm proud of you, man. I'm
Thank you,
proud of you,
sir.
bro.
Thank you, man. It was truly an honor to talk to you, and I can't. We're gonna be. I'm gonna be in the live chat for the IG party, so you'll see me in the live chat soon, sir.
I just want to remind them one more time. Instagram Live. Go to my IG Live at DNice, DNICE, Dreaming Black, DC Fandom, DC Comics Forever, WBTV. I mean, first of all, WBTV. I'm shouting them out. They didn't even ask me to, but I'm shouting them out because I'm like Candace Patton playing like Iris is like,
Yes.
I love the Flash. The Flash is what really got me into the whole like WBTV, DC, just that whole DC universe. So shout out to Candace, shout out to the WBTV team and family. It's awesome, bro. I'm
Hell
happy to be
yeah.
with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again.
My man. I see you at Club Quarantine.
All right.